You're listening to Interactive Wrestling Radio, featuring the Interactive Interview, courtesy of WrestlingEpicenter.com. Welcome back to Interactive Wrestling Radio, and right now on the Newsmaker line is a gentleman who will be part of the big Live on Broadway show from Phoenix Championship Wrestling. He is Jon Wolfgang. Are you with me, sir?
I am, James. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it, sir.
It's really a pleasure to have you on, and I got to tell you, I went to a concert at the Whiskey A Go-Go a couple years ago, and the opening band was like a local band that I had never heard of before, opening for a national act, and I kind of feel like that with Phoenix Championship Wrestling. Like, everybody knows about it, and I'm late to the party. Man, I'm so excited to finally get to check out Phoenix Championship Wrestling in just a couple of weeks, but let's start out with talking about you. I was doing some research into our interview, and before you were a wrestler, you were already involved in the wrestling industry. So how did you get into the wild world of pro wrestling?
Well, I mean, I always, the same thing with a lot of people who get into the business. You're a fan usually when you're young and growing up. With me, I was, watching Bret Hart matches with my dad. That was his favorite wrestler, and so naturally I kind of attached myself to it through that. And I got into the business finally through just will and trying to find a place to get a part of it. It's always been like that thing in the back of my head that, like, if you could do anything, what would you do? And that was always the answer. Like, if I could be anything, it would be a pro wrestler. Mm-hmm. So I found a local school, and through that school, I got connected with Dom Vitale. He's the gentleman that I actually own the Arizona Pro Wrestling Training Center with. We developed a really good friendship. We had started Phoenix Championship Wrestling. Those were the root days when it was just barely kind of getting onto its own feet. But after that, we started the Arizona Pro Wrestling Training Center. We built the foundation of what we believed a good curriculum was for athletes and for training and everything. And about a year into owning that was when I decided, like, okay, you know what? I'm going to actually take a step into the ring and not just do, the behind-the-scenes things, not just do the ring announcing. I want to actually, like, be in the ring and be in the fight, so to say. And so it took me about 2 years of training, and then I finally had my first match. I would say would have been, August of 2021.
That's incredible, and that's awesome to see you get in there. And like I said, I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos and kind of doing my prep work for this interview, and it seems like this is something you've taken very quickly to as well. Like your style, I wouldn't guess that you're just a 3-year pro at this point. You seem like you are very seasoned.
I appreciate that. Thankfully I've had a lot of veterans say the same thing to me. And going back to the training center that Dom and I started, that's what I would credit that to, because it's not just, me and Dom, it's a wealth load of experience. Dom himself has been wrestling for about 20 years. We've got a gentleman named Gabriel Gallo who's been wrestling, close to about 25, 30 years now, who's traveled overseas. We have regular, really renowned professional wrestlers such as Joe Graves and Alexander Hammerstone, who right now who's in TNA, absolutely crushing it. They'll come in and they'll offer their knowledge and wisdom, and we'll always have, of course, legends from the past. We've had Too Cold Scorpio, The Sheik, various others come in to impart their knowledge to us. So I'd like to say it's, due to talent and everything, but I think it's more so due to the fact that I've surrounded myself with some really good people, and they've been gracious enough to impart that to me. I think I do have a talent for it, but I think more than that, it's been hyper accelerated through really good people and really, really talented professional wrestlers.
Very good. On Twitter, it's called Train in AZ, but what is the official title of the training academy?
It is the Arizona Pro Wrestling Training Center.
Awesome. And where could people find out more information about that, and possibly, if they're interested in becoming a wrestler, look to apply?
If you're interested in that, you'll go to PCWAZ.com. There'll be a tab that says Training AZ. You'd click on that, and we'd be able to start the process and getting people in. We don't accept people just whenever they want to come in. We do about 4 classes a year. We're highly structured. We try to model everything that we do after, the format that they kind of follow at the Performance Center. We've got a lot of connections over there. So we're able to kind of figure out like what works, what doesn't work, what's the base level that, a high caliber professional wrestler is looking for. So if you're interested, I would get on it as soon as possible. We'll actually have our next class in August. So everyone who comes through, and this is even myself, I started the training center with Dom. We all start from the ground up. I started with, my first 6 weeks. We didn't even get in the ring for that first 6 weeks, and we had to earn our way in. And then we start to learn the intricacies of the business, the bumping, the strikes, the selling, everything like that makes a good wrestler.
Awesome. And you are in Arizona? I'm sorry, you're in Mesa? That's in Mesa, I should say?
That is in Mesa, yeah. The training center is located in Mesa, but we'll have people come from all over the valley. We have one gentleman who travels 2 hours twice a week from Tucson, Arizona.
Wow.
So, yeah, lots of really good character people at our training center.
That is incredible. And I got to tell you, I grew up in New Jersey. There, you can't, the expression is swing a dead cat without hitting a wrestling show every weekend, all over northern New Jersey and New York City and all that good stuff. Out here in Arizona, where I've been for over 20 years, there's been some dead spots where there's just not been all that much wrestling. It seems to be getting better, and you guys seem to be top-notch in terms of the way you're presenting it. Let's talk a little bit about the local market, the Arizona market, the expansion with all of the newcomers that have come into our area and basically made this a metropolis to where it makes perfect sense that a high-quality independent promotion could succeed here.
Yeah, I think it has a lot to do with the vision of the company, of Phoenix Championship Wrestling. We have the mindset that we're going to go back to grassroots of what professional wrestling was back in the territory days. It was a place where, grandma and grandpa could go, where families could go, where kids could go. Everyone has their own different wrestling style, and everyone has their own direction that they want to take their promotion. But for us, we want families to come. We want to be able to, see the looks on little kids' faces as they see the wrestlers come out and they're inspired. I mean, that's what got all of us, I'd assume anyway, back in the day into wrestling, because we were those little kids and we felt like these are superheroes. These are, Wonder Woman and Superman and Batman, in real life, in a sporting aspect. And so that's where we try to hit a lot of our focus. We try to create ties with the communities through different charity works, or we have our Slam U wrestling events, which are typically charity centered. We want families. We want people to come for 2 hours to escape whatever is going on in the world, because the world ain't all sunshine and rainbows, but you can come over here and you can have a good time. You can see different characters. You can be inspired. You can have people that you really dislike, and hopefully have people that you really do like and connect with at the same time. It's about, at the end of the day, professional wrestling is about people. And our motto at the training center at Phoenix Championship Wrestling, we always say internally, is it's bigger than wrestling. And that's what it should be. I think if you're going to be successful, you have to want to inspire people.
Very cool. I like that approach to wrestling. I can't wait to see this show. Again, July 13th. It'll be at the Eagles Community Center in Mesa, Arizona. I will be there as a fan, attending. And, of course, you said about watching guys that you see as superheroes. One of the guys that I used to watch as a kid, a 10-year-old kid on ESPN, is going to be there. And that is Jerry Lynn, who is going to be appearing for a free meet and greet and will be at the show. What does it mean for you guys to have somebody like that to come in and be part of this adventure?
I think it's huge. I'm pinching myself, because little Jon Wolfgang, from when he was 10 years old, he would be going crazy, because I remember, my family didn't have a lot of money, so we didn't have the ability to, get a bunch of wrestling on TV and stuff, but we could order DVDs for sale if we could make the money for it. I remember going and mowing lawns and everything so I could get $20 to buy the Rob Van Dam DVD. And that's when I remember seeing Jerry Lynn. I remember seeing those incredible matches that he had with, Rob Van Dam and ECW, and just being, inspired by the athleticism that this guy had. So to kind of fast forward, basically 20 years in the future, and to say, I'm going to be at a show and Jerry Lynn's in the audience and he's going to get the chance to see me wrestle there's nothing that can say it other than short of like, it's a blessing, man. And Jerry Lynn's, going to be able to give, the wrestlers a little bit of his time to give some critiques on different things. And so to be able to, again, our philosophy of gleaming knowledge from the people who have done it before, to be able to get that from a guy like Jerry Lynn, that's just nothing more that you could ask. As a wrestler, as a wrestling fan, it's going to be an incredible night, and we're super fortunate to have him there. He's going to be a welcome addition to our Phoenix Championship Wrestling locker room.
Can't wait to see him there. Of course, there's going to be other big-name stars doing the free meet and greet as well. Val Venis of the WWE Attitude Era, as well as the First Lady of Wrestling, Missy Hyatt. And you already mentioned him. He'll be part of the Battle Royal as well. TNA Wrestling's Alexander Hammerstone. So there's a lot of big-name stars that, the mainstream fans that maybe didn't yet come to PCW will recognize. They'll come for the stars and they'll see the amazing local talent and hopefully fall in love with everybody involved.
Absolutely.
All right. So the big match that's happening at the event is going to be a battle royal to crown a number one contender for the PCW championship. Thoughts heading into the big show?
My thoughts heading into that big match is redemption. And that's basically because, in my opinion, right now, I wish I was the champion. Our last event that we had, I faced the current champion class, and I fell just a little bit short. And it wasn't because I made a giant mistake. It was just because I fell out of time. The 25-minute time limit hit, unfortunately, right as I got the pin. And so, of course, in that scenario, you don't get to keep the title because the time expired. So I am looking for redemption, and that's what I really need in this battle royal. And I have to go back to the well to kind of get my spot back. There's nothing that you're just given at Phoenix Championship Wrestling. You have to earn every little bit of scratch that you're going to get inside this company. And so that's my goal heading into that, is to basically get back to the main event and finish the job that I started last May, a month ago, to basically make sure that there's an answer when it comes to who's better between Class and Jon Wolfgang. And I plan on that being me. I just need that opportunity to do it one more time. And so I'll have that battle royal, and earlier that night I'll also have that tag team match with my friend Dom Vitale that I mentioned. Win the match, last entrant in the battle royal, much favorable position. Lose the match, I dig myself a bigger hole, and I have to enter in number one. So there's lots of high stakes in this match, but the number one goal for my whole wrestling career at this point has been to be Phoenix Championship Wrestling Heavyweight Champion. It's been 3 years running that I've been gunning for that title. I've had a lot of step backs and fall downs and everything like that, but I've firmly believed, that God has been willing me to get back up every single time and to keep fighting. There's been disappointments. I've had a torn bicep. I've let people down, and they've still stuck with me, and there's nothing that I can really do to warrant that kind of love, but they give it to me regardless. And so I feel like I need to reward the people who have supported me with that championship win. So that's why that battle royal is so important, because in September, that's where that championship match will happen, and it'll be at our anniversary show, at the biggest show we've ever had. And we want to make sure that we get everyone out there and having a good time and everything like that. But me personally, I want to make sure I finish the job and finish what I started.
Can't wait to see it. I will be there, like I said, and it's going to be a great show for everyone to see. It's a little bit of a different venue, though. From what I understand, you guys usually play a different place, and this is a little bit of a new environment for you guys. Is that going to be a change of scenery for you guys, and how are you viewing playing maybe a little bit more East Mesa than you did before?
You mean at the anniversary show, right?
Oh, I actually meant at the Eagles.
Oh, Eagles. Well, Eagles we've actually been at quite a bit. The last event before this, we had Eagles had some renovations done, which unfortunately weren't ready in time. And so we had to scramble to find a different place to have the show. It was our first ever sold out show. We sold out about 3 weeks before the show happened. And about 2 weeks before, we got the news that, like, hey, the floors aren't, ready for, the weight of a wrestling ring at this time. So we need to find you guys a different place. And thankfully, because we've made such good connections with our local community. I talked about, making sure that we have connections through charity work and everything like that. Those types of things, I'm a firm believer in, that they reward you in the future. You give back to your community, give back to people, it comes back around. You can call it karma, you can call it, God, you can call it whatever you want, but I know for a fact that, people want to take care of us because we've taken care of them. So the city of Mesa is, who is in control of the Eagles Community Center, wasn't ready. They're like, it's not ready, but we got another place that you can go to. And so they opened the doors at that place. We had the show, but now the venue over at Eagles is ready. We'll be back over there. And then in September, that's when we're going to Skyline because we'll need a bigger place to pack some more people in.
There you go. That might be what I was speaking to Don Vitale about the change of venue, and I think I might have misunderstood. So I apologize if I flubbed that question, but I appreciate you setting me straight.
Okay. That's okay. Well, and like I said, I think that's an important thing about what we do, though. Like, what we do is we try to build really good connections, and we try to deliver a product that people can be proud of. Like, that's an unfortunate thing to happen, especially 2 weeks before a show. We're kind of in the situation where we're scrambling, but Mesa covered it right away. They found us a place that day. We went over and visited, scouted it, and we got in the place. We got it all locked in. So I think that's what happens when you show people what professional wrestling is and you show them a good product that, everyone can be proud of, whether you're a wrestling fan or it's your first time. You can always come to our shows and find something that you can be happy with and be worth the price of your admission ticket.
I agree, and I'll let you go in just a few moments, but like I said, I'm a lifelong wrestling fan. I'm getting older. I'm 42, and I grew up, with everything from the WWF to the AWA to all that stuff at the very end of the territory days, and local wrestling is so important. And I have a 14-year-old kid who is also going to be coming to the show, and we went to the Championship Wrestling from Arizona taping like a couple weeks before AEW came to town. And obviously it's a smaller venue, it's a smaller setup, and when we were leaving the AEW show, he looked at me and said, I like that Championship Wrestling show better than the AEW show. And I think, yeah, I can see why, because it's more intimate and then more you can connect with the guys better because you're so much closer and you can a lot of times meet them and shake their hands. So definitely local wrestling in Arizona. So happy to see that you guys are doing this, and I'm a little ashamed of myself for not finding you guys a lot sooner than I did.
Well, that's all right. We're glad that you're in the fold now, and that's the thing. Like, Phoenix is an area where we should have quality professional wrestling promotions. We have such a huge market, and there are such amazing wrestling fans locally. Like, we've had a WrestleMania, we've had Royal Rumbles, we've had Elimination Chamber, AEW, as you mentioned, has come to town and everything. So there's no reason why this market can't be successful. I think what it takes is the formula we found at Phoenix Championship Wrestling. It takes, again, you presenting a product that people can be proud of, that people aren't going to be able to poke holes through, that people are going to say, I believe that person. I believe when he says that he's going to do X, Y, and Z.
Beautiful. Well, like I said, I'll be there and I'll be watching, and everybody out there can follow the links on this interview to buy tickets for Phoenix Championship Wrestling live on Broadway from the Eagle Center in Mesa, Arizona. Can't thank you enough for taking the time to do this with me, Mr. Wolfgang.
I appreciate you, sir. Thank you for the time. And for anyone who's going to come out to the show, we look forward to having you there. We're going to deliver the best professional wrestling that you can see on an independent level. And come out and support. Let's have some fun, all right?
I appreciate it. Thank you so much, man. It was really fun to talk to you. And, I'm getting real jazzed for this show. I can't wait to be there in a couple weeks.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks, man. I'll talk to you soon, and I'll let you know when I get this up online.
All right. Thank you, sir. I appreciate the time. You have a good day, all right?
Oh, okay, cool. By the way, I'm supposed to be doing class on Monday, so I'm probably going to pair everything together and put them up together and get a presser out there for it and type up a transcript And I think they said they were going to set me up with Missy as well. So Missy will probably say something that'll get some headlines, as she tends to
do. Right.
We'll get some
Well, that's the deal, right? Personalities. You got to get the personalities.
Exactly. We'll do what we can to get as many people there as we can for you guys. And you guys have been so cool to us. I appreciate you taking the time to do this.
Oh, ditto, my friend. We'll look forward to seeing you at the show. Be sure to stop by and say hi so I can make a face to the name and the voice, all right?
This is Interactive Wrestling Radio.
Interactive Wrestling Radio. Interactive Wrestling Radio. Interactive Wrestling Radio. Interactive Wrestling Radio. Interactive Wrestling Radio. Interactive Wrestling Radio. Oh, Rush.
Featuring the interactive interview.
Interactive interview. Interactive interview. Interactive interview. Interactive interview. Interactive interview. Interactive interview. Oh, yeah.
Formerly The Blaze.
The Blaze. The Blaze. The Blaze. The Blaze. The Blaze. The Blaze. The Blaze. The Blaze. The Blaze. The Blaze rock.
You maniacs, so what you gonna do when the Blaze of Mania runs wild on you?
On WrestlingEpicenter.com.
Wrestling Epicenter.
Wrestling
Epicenter. Wrestling
Epicenter.
Wrestling Epicenter.
Wrestling Epicenter. The Wrestling Epicenter. Don't get off.
And now we shamelessly name drop from our history.
The Wrestling Epicenter would like to apologize for the following.
All right, everybody. Viva la raza. Viva la raza.
Hey, y'all.
Hammerstone. Hello, ladies.
Hey guys, we had a lovely conversation.
First lady.
Absolutely. Oh, look at me. She's so kooky.
Be there. Where else?
Interactive Wrestling Radio.
Wrestling.
Epicenter.
Oh my God, you win! Wow, being interactive.
Whoa! I just got some listen. I was gonna shoot him. Yeah, almost this one, man. Breaking neck. I got 2 words for you. I've heard a lot about you guys. I see my language. You're gonna go to the shop. I see him now. We're into the many.
No nerves.
That was great. It's gonna be cool. Woo! What it's all about. The purest point of view. The living legend. Rock and roll. Arrogant.
Jesus makes me.
Instead of statement, I'm talking to you.
So lonely without you.
In the land of extreme.
Testify. Nevermore. Interactive interview. I'm not just the best. Interactive interview with a plastic
You
head.
earned the right.
Nobody. You better keep listening. Thank you very much. Controversy creates cash. Professional wrestling.
Made in the USA, baby.
Memphis wrestling. The guy on fire.
I'm not
bad.
We were sexy.
What a show.
One and only.
Interactive Wrestling Radio.
Wrestling Epicenter.
Interactive interview. We took care of the business. This isn't ballet. We are huge. You're where it's at. You gotta recognize who's the best. If you're smart, make sure to tune in each and every week. I'll come out of your computer, knock down your door, and turn it on for you. Or else I'm gonna kick your stinking teeth in. And that's the bottom line. Have a nice day.
It's showtime!
Don't forget to like and subscribe.